Prestige 91.7 FM news package gives you information on trending social and political stories,
commentaries, spotlights, business, foreign, entertainment, sports, and weather prospects.
We say it the way it is. Stay tuned on 91.7 FM news every day at 9 a.m., 11 a.m.,
12 noon, 3 p.m., 6 p.m. and 6 a.m.
247 every day.
We give you the breaking news unfiltered. Stay tuned every day as we give it to you live.
Prestige FM 91.7 MENA, redefining broadcasting in Niger State.
We keep watch on social, political, economic events of the close and faraway localities.
We send accounts of events to the audience through creative reporting,
commentary,
features,
and expos. Our stimuli not just informs, entertains, and educates, but enriches.
Prestige FM MENA,
ahead with the news.
Today, Saturday, 28 Shawwal 1446 after Hijrah, equivalent to 26th April 2025. In the words of Basie Head, I am building a stairway to the stairs. I have the authority to take the whole of mankind up there with me, and that's why I write. Good evening and welcome to our newsreel package. I am Memunaraj Egigogo, your guide. The headlines. NLC President laments on the effect of inflation and minimum wage in Nigeria. UNICEF calls on Nigerian government to prioritize adequate funding for vaccines. Still on our headline, World Bank Group says more Nigerians are expected to sink into poverty by 2027. And federal government says it has approved 15 billion naira for NEMA to prepare for flood emergencies. Do stay tuned for the details of our newsreel package after this break. President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Joy Ajero, has mourned the effect of inflation on the minimum wage in the country. Ajero, speaking at the first quadrennial delegates conference of the Trade Union Congress, TUC, in Abuja, said it was time the organized labor stood united and collectively fought the numerous issues affecting workers. He lamented that presently Nigerians were paying electricity tariff and taxes above the minimum wage of 70,000 naira approved by President Bola Tinubu's administration. Labour Party's presidential candidate in 2023, Peter Obi, has blamed poor leadership for the rising poverty level in Nigeria. Obi made this assertion while delivering a lecture titled Politics and Change in Nigeria at Johns Hopkins University in the United Kingdom. He lamented that in comparison, Nigeria has more poor people than China, Indonesia, Vietnam, emphasizing that the fate of a nation is closely tied to the quality of its leadership. Program Office Consultant for Niger Foods and the newly turbaned Jakada Noma, Engineer Bashir Khalil Tanko, has appreciated the Emir of Benin, Dr. Omar Farouk Bahago, for finding him worthy of the traditional title and recognition as Jakada Noma and fatherly role he has played in his life. Engineer Bashir Khalil Tanko made the appraisal during the turbaning ceremony held at Emir Palace in Minna. He said the recognition as Jakada Noma is a very big achievement for him, noting that irrigation farming is one of the things he wants to introduce to the Emirate in order to secure food security and economic development in the Emirate. The newly turbaned Jekaden Noma further disclosed that within the emirate he has been among the emirates that want to promote agriculture as well as getting more land into cultivation. In his remark, he assured the emirate of providing and ensuring food security in order to eradicate hunger and minimize poverty in the emirate. The Emir of Mina, Dr. Umar Faruk Bahago, said the traditional of Jekaden Noman Mina was bestowed on Engineer Bashir Khalil Tanko for his contribution to the entire emirate, especially in the agricultural sector. Dr. Faruk Bahago then appealed to Engineer Bashir to use the position to mobilize people to key into the new Niger agenda of the present administration and engage in farming in order to ensure availability of food in the state. The event featured top government officials, youth, traditional leaders, among others. As the world marked World Malaria Day, the National Orientation Agency NOAA has reminded Nigerians of the risk associated with malaria diseases and the need for quick proactive preventions. NOAA said this year's theme, Malaria Ends With Us, Reinvest, Reimagine and Reignite, called for renewed action and investment to end malaria. In a message to Nigerians, NOAA further acknowledged that malaria remains deadly, especially for children under 5 and women, stressing the need to sleep under insecticide-treated nets, eliminate stagnant water, use repellent where protective clothing, and keep the surroundings clean. Head of Health and Social Care, NOAA Niger State Directorate, Manko Saidu, in an interview emphasized that eradication of malaria in Nigeria is a collective effort, calling on the public to avoid self-medication and visit the nearest health facility when there is any symptom. Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, has revealed that the federal government is aiming to reach 30 million children with malaria preventive treatment in 2025. Speaking virtually at the World Malaria Day commemoration in Abuja, organized by the National Malaria Elimination Program, MNEP, and the Malaria Council in collaboration with Gates Foundation, the minister said the treatment will be delivered through the seasonal malaria chemo prevention program in 21 eligible states and the northern region where malaria transmission is highest. The minister also addressed the head of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, President's Malaria Initiative operation in some states, assuring Nigerians that the federal government has budgeted for the procurement of essential malaria commodities, including ACT, diagnostic kits, and preventive medication for pregnant women to fill the gap. United Nations Children Fund UNICEF has called on Nigerian government to prioritize adequate funding for vaccines, describing it as one of the most impactful investments any forward-thinking administration can make. Speaking during a media dialogue organized by the UNICEF field office in Enugu to commemorate World Immunization Week, officials emphasized the life-saving potentials of vaccines in protecting people of all ages from preventable diseases. The agency raised concerns that insecurity in many parts of Nigeria is strengthening past gains as more people are unable to complete their immunization schedules. Away from immunization issues, Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Professor Abdullahi Salih Usman, Pakistan, has commended President Bola Tinubu and his Vice President Kashim Shettima for their intervention in resolving the BTA to intending pilgrims via ATM puzzles. The NAHCOM chairman stated that their intervention compelled the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to cancel its earlier decision to issue ATM cards instead of cash to intending pilgrims. He remarked that although no nation's citizen can afford to be left behind in an ever-changing world, new innovation can only be meaningful and beneficial if gradually and systematically infused and assimilated by a society at its own pace. A former deputy national chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Chief Bode George, has downplayed the recent defection of key Delta State politicians to All Progressives Congress (APC), insisting that it poses no real threat to the opposition party ahead of the 2027 general elections. Speaking during an interview on a national television, the PDP chieftain described the defection as a familiar political episode that folded little long-term consequences for the people. For the PDP, Chief Bode George's remarks came in the wake of defection of Delta State Governor Sharif Oborevoyi, his deputy Monday Onyeme, and former Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, along with several commissioners and political stakeholders in the state, to the APC. In case you're just joining us, this is Prestige News, broadcast live on 91.7 FM. And in the segment of our first line, NLC President laments on the effect of inflation in minimum wage in Nigeria. UNICEF calls on Nigerian government to prioritize adequate funding for vaccine. And still to come, World Bank Group says more Nigerians are expected to sink into poverty by 2027. Federal government says it has approved 15 billion naira for NEMA to prepare for flood emergencies. Remember that you can follow us and comment on our social media platforms at Prestigefm91.7mx, or you can also listen to us anywhere on the radio app, prestigefmradio.org.ng. The news will continue after this break. Stay tuned.
Prestige 91.7.
Welcome back, and our newsreel package continues live on streaming. The World Bank Group has revealed that despite Nigeria's resources-rich status, more of the country's citizens are expected to sink into poverty by 2027. This is contained in the World Bank's Africa Polls report released at the ongoing spring meeting of the International Monetary Fund (IMF) and the World Bank in Washington, D.C., the United States. The report noted that sub-Saharan Africa has the highest extreme poverty rate globally, with a large share of the poor concentrated in a few countries. National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has intercepted a group of suspected trafficking victims en route to Libya through Babura border in Jigawa State. Speaking during the handover ceremony in Gusau, Zamfara State capital, Commander of NAPTIP Aliu Abubakar revealed that 9 victims were intercepted by operatives of the Nigerian Immigration Service. Out of the total, 3 of the victims were identified as indigenes of Zamfara State. Federal government says it has approved 15 billion naira for the National Agency Management for the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) to prepare for flood as the rainy season kick in. The Vice President Kashim Shettima said the approval is one of the first proactive decisions by the government to prepare for the flooding season. Kashim Shettima made the affirmation during a meeting of the Presidential Food System Coordinating Unit Steering Committee at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Dr. Richard Montgomery, has applauded UK and Nigerian government partnership for the recent investment in Nigeria education system. The school, which is located in Lekki, a high-brow area of Lagos State, sits on 70 hectares. According to Montgomery, the school is modeled after the Charterhouse United Kingdom School, which has over 400 years of history, heritage and prestige. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has expressed disapproval after a motivational speaker demanded $18,000 for a mentorship program. The spokesperson for the EFCC, Dele Oyewale, warned Nigerians against investing their money in schemes that could put them in trouble. The fee, equivalent to nearly 30 million naira, sparked debate on social media, with some users flaunting the poster Stephen Akintayo. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Nelson Wike has said no amount of blackmail will bring peace to Rivers State. Wike said for peace to reign in the state, all critical stakeholders, including members of the National Assembly, must be involved with sincerity of purpose. He stated that the declaration of emergency rule averted calamities that will have occurred in the state. Amid riding insecurity across the country, hunters and farmers have called on the federal government to formally empower them to flush out bandits, Boko Haram, insurgents and other criminal elements hiding in forest. The group, including the Nigerian Forest Security Service, Professional Hunters Association of Nigeria, Agbekoye Farmers Association of Nigeria and Odua People's Congress, insisted that they possessed the spiritual ability, knowledge, training and presence in forest to combat terrorists. There has been a re-insurgence of terror attacks in the country, particularly in Plateau and Benue states. Kaduna State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) has called on its faithful to be watchful to fish out bad eggs in their communities to ensure sanity and peaceful coexistence in the state. Its chairman, Reverend Maji Caleb, made the call when clergymen from Tekan and Ekwa block of CAN, Kaduna State, paid him a courtesy visit. We are sure that Christians in the state will continue to work in collaboration with the state government towards ensuring that bad eggs are fished out for the overall progress and development of the state. Tangale Community Development Association, Gombe State, has urged the state government to probe the killing of 5 persons by a truck driver who claimed the brake of the vehicle failed on Easter Monday. The crash occurred when the truck driver rammed into a Christian procession, claiming 5 lives and injuring 21 people in Biliri town. The State Police Command said the accident was not deliberate, saying it occurred because of brake failure. The chairman of the TCDA, Danladi Bako, blamed security agencies for not providing adequate security to the procession. And that does it from Gombe State, and we wrap our newsreel package. Before we go, a recap of the major headlines once again. Effect of inflation on minimum wage in Nigeria. UNICEF calls on Nigerian government to prioritize adequate funding for vaccines. We also brought to you that World Bank Group says more Nigerians are expected to sink into poverty by 2027. And you also heard federal government says it has approved 15 billion naira for NEMA to prepare for flood emergencies. And that's the end of the news. A popular African proverb says, smoke does not affect honeybees alone. Honey gatherers are also affected. On behalf of the news editor Nifadia Bayomi, the newsroom crew, the duty continuity announcer has been Stephen Gia. Don't forget to always stream live us on our all our social media platform. We can do this again, same time, same station, next time. Bye-bye. I am Nimnaraj Ejibugu, your guide once again. Bye-bye.